Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, August 8th, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below, let him know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather look that just came out at 7:08 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:08 p.m. Jamaica time. We can see that we're no longer watching that code yellow off the east coast of the U.S. We can see that we're still watching that code orange that's across the main development region that should push off towards the north. And we now have a brand new area to watch right here off the coast of Africa. Well, it's right there on the edge of Africa, expected to push out towards the west-northwest and possibly become something as well. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite imagery right here, we can see the remnants of what was trying to become something right here off the east coast of the US. Lots of clouds, showers, and thunderstorms over there, extending down into the Bahamas, Florida, and Cuba. We can also see the clouds associated with that code orange, something that's trying to develop as it's pushing off towards the north. And we can see the amount of intense thunderstorms right here exiting the coast of Africa associated with that tropical wave that should push towards the west-northwest and possibly develop. Very interesting. Let us read what the Hurricane Center has stated. So, as of right now, this code yellow is nothing more, but we start watching this code orange. Let us read what the Hurricane Center has stated. Shower activity has increased a little in association with a tropical wave over the central tropical Atlantic. Development of this system appears unlikely during the next day or two due to the surrounding dry air, but environmental conditions are forecast to become more conducive in a few days. A tropical depression could form during the early or middle part of next week while the system moves northwestward to northward across the central Atlantic. And we see that they've given the area a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 40% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. But regarding this brand new area that the Hurricane Center has highlighted, they've stated here, a tropical wave located near the west coast of Africa is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some slow development of this system is possible next week while the system moves west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour across the eastern and central tropical Atlantic. And we see that they've given the area a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And look at the track. It's looking like it's going to be taking more of a northerly track, so it might just miss the Caribbean in general. But we have to pay close attention because who knows, maybe it's riding the southern edge of this code yellow and then maybe it, clips the Leeward Islands. Who knows? We have to definitely keep watch just in case. We usually stop watching these systems as soon as they are more to the north of the Leeward Islands. That's when you know for sure that they're definitely not going to be making more of a southward dip back into the Caribbean and affect us here in Jamaica at all. But regarding what the supercomputer models are showing, we're just going to be going out to the next 168 hours. That's the end of the next 7 days. So this is valid for 12Z on Friday, August 15, and we're looking at both the Euro and the GFS model. The Euro model has it right here to the northeast of the Leeward Islands, so it's expected to push a bit to the north of there. Are going to be affecting the Leeward Islands to that effect. Maybe just some outer bands. That's according to what the latest Euro is showing. But the latest GFS for the same time period, 7 a.m. on Friday, August 15, has this system right here. We can see all of the moisture and the airflow pressure associated with it. Just right here to the northeast, far away northeast of the area that where the hurricane center is. So we see the hurricane center has it definitely closer to the Leeward Island. GFS has it a bit north of there. Very interesting times ahead either way. We'll see if this actually takes place. We can also see the Euro not really showing much of anything in the northern portion of North Atlantic, but the GFS showing something up there, spinning away, maybe an area of low pressure. Let's see if we actually get the next names on the list after Dexter, which are Erin and Fernan. Let's see what takes place. So we have to stay tuned to see exactly what unfolds. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see the broken orange lines associated with the trough that's currently affecting portions of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba. We can also see the tropical wave that the hurricane center is watching that has a medium chance of development as it pushes towards the northwest. And we see the ridges of high pressure over into the northern portion of North Atlantic that we know are responsible for sending all of these entities from east to west or from southeast to northwest, as in this case right over here. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out all of these entities. We can see the clouds associated with that code orange spinning away, in a way, definitely pushing towards the northwest as we speak. We can see the clouds associated with the trough, definitely bring some thunderstorms to portion of Cuba, the Bahamas, and Florida as we speak. And we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave that's currently exiting the west coast of Africa as we speak. Some moisture right down in here to the northeast of South America. Some moisture definitely affected portion of the ABC Islands today. The usual thunderstorms across portion of northern South America, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana. Nothing new over there at all. We also see some moisture across the Yucatan Peninsula as well. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, August 8, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some southern and eastern parishes on Friday morning, also affecting sections of some northern and western parishes during a Friday afternoon. And we know when we're talking about southern parishes, let's find it quickly. We know southern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side. So Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Well, northern parishes for the afternoon, you know, we're talking about those parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawny, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. Eastern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Western parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawny, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. So for the morning, as stated, it was expected for southern and eastern parishes in the early morning hours. And I guess we might have had something taking place, especially across eastern Jamaica. We definitely had some isolated showers in my parish of St. Thomas. Definitely saw some isolated showers coming into portions of southern Manchester, southern St. Elizabeth during the late morning hours, but nothing was worthy of being posted. But during the afternoon, where it was predicted I would have gotten some rainfall across some western parishes and some northern parishes, that's where the post was really made. We definitely had some clouds bring some rainfall. As a matter of fact, this was our first time posting the Jamaican Doppler radar in about 3 years. It's back up and running today, and we're indeed grateful. We made a post here on our Twitter page today, and I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at around 3:09 p.m., the Jamaican Doppler radar imagery was posted, and it highlighted some rainfall. We see the greens, we see the yellows, we see the oranges, even into the reds, represent some intense rainfall, especially across sections of some northern parishes. We're talking about sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawny, sections of St. Anne, spilling into sections of St. Mary, northern St. Andrew, northeastern St. Catherine. Definitely gotten on some of that moderate to heavy rainfall for sure. And we can see the visible satellite images right here confirming this. Look at the cloud cover across section of northern St. Catherine, northern St. Andrew, western Portland, sections of St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland. Definitely gotten on the overcast skies, if not the isolated thunder shower activity. And we can see that it was indeed some thunder shower activity. The infrared right here showing the blues into the greens, into the yellows, oranges, reds. That represents that cumulonimbus cloud cover. Not to mention the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely have the thunderstorm activity, especially across sections of Hanover, section of Trelawney, St. James for sure. All of this activity pushing off towards the west, as you can see, dissipating by the time of recording. And if we take a look right here on the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel at around 1:55 p.m, we can see that not much of anything took place around there. We see that it was definitely sunny, windy. The rear cobra definitely has changed color. We see that it has a orangish shade. It usually has a greenish shade. And this just confirms that we didn't get much of anything across the southern areas at all. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. And even the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website is confirming that we didn't get much of anything today across the south coast and the east side. But most of the rainfall was across the northern and western parishes: Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, northern St. Andrew, southwestern section of St. Mary for sure, maybe western Portland. That was where the brunt of today's rainfall was. And if we take a look at some of the comments that came in today, we have Franco Letman on our Facebook page stating rain, rain, and more rain. We also have on our Instagram page one Ryan _ stating rain in Hanover with thunder. Maggie stating cool rain here in Montego Bay. We also have Marlon _ one God stating cool and cloudy here in South Clarendon with the Jamaica. Thanks for confirming. We have Banner Paula stating dry as chips in Kingston. I am Den77 setting rain in Hanover. And even on our TikTok page, we had some comments coming in. Kerry and Perkins stating no rain in South, but we had a DM plus CNR stating a lot of rain in Hopewell, Hanover. Thank you all for confirming what the weather was like in your ear for today. As a matter of fact, we had some comments here on our YouTube page. We have Ben Love 8520 stating for the last few days it's been overcast. It's only rain on Independence Day so far today. Not really overcast here in Spanish Town. We have Donna Williams sitting in Shantimi, Portland. We have been getting rain most of the day. Thank you, Jesus. That's good. And we have Active 481 sitting hot and dry with the Jamaica. Thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your ear. Alright, let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let's see what's happening right now. And so the latest still image is showing 0025 UTC, which is actually 7:25 p.m. So this just came out 10 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:35 p.m. right now. As you can see, not much of anything across the island. Clouds definitely clearing up. Just some leftover clouds across the western end. Let us see the latest Jamaican Doppler radar to confirm. The latest Cuban Doppler radar to confirm. The latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar to confirm. And the latest Cayman radar to confirm. So we're looking at the latest Jamaican Doppler radar. So we're gonna be pausing it right here. Hold on. Alright, there we go. So this is the latest Doppler radar. Imagery came out as 0021 UTC. So it came out at, hold on, okay, so there we go. So this came out at 0025 UTC. So the Jamaican Doppler radar came out at 0021 UTC, so around 7:21. And as you can see, if we zoom in on the imagery, we have some strands of rain, some moderate, light to moderate rainfall right here across southwestern Westmoreland, but that's basically it. Don't be fooled by all of these blues and greens that we see across sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine. All of this is ground clutter. That's just a glitch in the system. But we can see the rain bands right here across southwestern Westmoreland. Let us see if the latest Cuban Doppler radar is confirming. Not really seeing much of anything. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar showing some rainfall across section of southeastern Cuba. We also see the Cayman radar confirming some decent rainfall. We see the greens into the slight yellow, some moderate to, some slightly heavy rainfall. We also see that rainfall that the Jamaican Doppler radar showed across southwestern Westmoreland. Some rainfall definitely affecting the waters in and around the Cayman Islands for the most part. And if we take a look right here at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, you can see that not much of anything is taking place. The weather is fair, people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing to do with bad weather taking place at this time. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. We can see Jamaica right here embedded in some grays and some slight yellows. That represents what we see here on the key on the right. 0 into the 1s, that represents average to slightly above average temperatures, at least 1 degree Celsius above. And if we take a look at the average temperatures regarding the months of the year across Jamaica, we know that during the month of August, it's around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the average. And when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32.8 to 33.8 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. And we have at least one maintenance outage advisory here from my JPS Online Twitter page that we have to highlight. I know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Saturday, August 9, 2025. We're referring to Hearties, Lloyds, Islington, Ramble, Windsor Forest, Riverhead, Somerset, Landoway, all in the parish of St. Thomas from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, seek shade when outside. Eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or a bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty. And put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. The dry air map still showing that the driest, most stable air is still right here across the waters to the northwest of Africa. All of these yellows, oranges, and reds, like what we see on the key on the bottom, definitely coincides with what we're seeing here. We also see the dry air extending into the central and eastern to the southwestern Caribbean, and we see a lot of moist air in the blues across portion of the main development region, a lot of moist air right here off the east coast of the US into the Gulf, into the western Caribbean, and that's what we want more of. We want more moist air so that we get more clouds, that we get more rainfall to keep water in our pipes. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be getting in on a crazy plume. We see the greens into the yellows, oranges, pinks, and that's pushing across the main development region. That should be across the eastern Caribbean by around August 11, August 12, and eventually it's going to be making its way into Jamaica. As of right now, the next 3 days, August 9, 10, and 11, we should be enjoying the low end of the scale in terms of Saharan dust. We see the slight greens pushing through. We won't even notice that at all for the next 3 days. But when this vigorous plume pushes through, we're definitely going to be noticing the very hazy skies. Not to mention it triggering some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So get your meds handy for next week. The wave forecast for tomorrow across the Caribbean still showing that the lowest waves in the blues, the light shades of blues at that, across the Gulf into the Western Caribbean, while the dark shades of blues, the blues into the, dark shades of blues across the Caribbean in general. The 1.5 meter wave height is expected there, and that's because of the winds that we see. We see an easterly flow averaging anywhere from 15 to 20, maybe even gusting up to 25 knots, especially to the north of Colombia. Nothing new. But if we zoom in on Jamaica regarding our wave forecast, 0.9 of a meter wave height expected to the north of Portland, 0.8 of a meter wave height to the north of St. Anne, 0.5 of a meter wave height to the north of Hanover, 0.6 of a meter wave height to the south of Westmoreland, 0.7 of a meter wave height to the south of Clarendon, to the south of St. Thomas, 1.1 meter wave height expected. And that's because of the winds that are expected tomorrow. We see more of an easterly flow right here across the island, averaging 15 knots to the south of St. Thomas, 14 knots to the south of Manchester, 15 knots to the north of St. Anne. And look at where the air is piling up. Look at where we have the least amount of winds. Once again, across section of some northern and western parishes. So that's where we could have those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds, and the upper level winds seem to be coming in from the northeast tomorrow. So if we actually get some thunderstorms tomorrow, the cloud tops would be sheared off towards the southwest. So if we actually get that rainfall across the north coast, some of these clouds could definitely bring overcast skies to section of some southwestern parishes. And regarding the actual rainfall forecast maps, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. We can clearly see the rainfall in the blues across especially northern and western parishes, just like what the GFS is alluding to. So section of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, section of Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, western Portland, maybe section of St. Andrew getting in on some of the action. So too section of northern St. Elizabeth getting in on some of that rainfall as well. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS maps are in agreement with that, even although the Euro is trying to incorporate portions of some southern and eastern parishes in there. We know that the GFS is more accurate regarding the afternoon rainfall, so let us work with what it's showing. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS here are adamant that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro is showing the most rainfall in the slight oranges, that represents up to 0.4 or 0.5 an inch of rainfall out west. GFS is going up to at least 0.45 an inch of rainfall in the northwest. We'll see exactly what happens, or whatever happens, we'll definitely take it. Because we're in the month of August, and in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive around 100 millimeters of rainfall for the month of August. In Montego Bay, we usually receive close to 5 inches of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of August, or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some moisture across portion of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Colombia, sections of Venezuela as usual, sections of Cuba, Florida, and the Bahamas getting some rainfall as we speak. And regarding the Doppler radar imagery near Puerto Rico, not seeing much of anything across Puerto Rico right now. We do see some isolated hit or miss showers to the east of Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe. Loading these images from earlier today, we saw some rainfall across section of western Puerto Rico as usual, nothing new. Barbados radar showing some rainfall pushing from east to west across sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada getting on some of the action, so too Trinidad and Tobago. And regarding the weather, we have Doppler our images, we can also make out that rainfall across portion of Venezuela, Colombia, the Yucatan, section of Belize, section of Cuba, Florida getting on some rainfall. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall is represented by the reds, up to 1 inch of rainfall definitely expected for portions of Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, section of Florida, northern Bahamas, Cuba, section of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico getting on some of the action. So too the US and British Virgin Islands, section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada getting on some of the action, Trinidad and Tobago, section of the Yucatan, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, section of Costa Rica, Panama. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so regarding what's happening on the eastern Pacific side of things, we're watching post-tropical cyclone Henriette. So it's no longer a tropical storm, definitely downgraded in a sense. It's right here to the east of Hawaii, to the east of Henriette though, closer to the west coast of Mexico. We still have tropical storm Ivo. And if we take a look at the infrared right here, we can make out these entities. We have Henriette right here, the remnants of it, and to the east of that, we have Ivo, definitely closer to the Cabo San Lucas area. And if we take a closer look at the statistics regarding Henriette, it's expected to pass to the north of Hawaii. It's currently packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour. So it's definitely not a tropical storm anymore. But as you can see by the intensity guidance right here, it's expected to upgrade back to a tropical storm in the S by around Saturday. I don't know. This looks like Saturday morning, if not Saturday afternoon. Yes, Saturday afternoon for sure, 8 p.m. Definitely passing to the north of Hawaii. As of right now, it's pushing towards west-northwest at 17 miles per hour. But regarding Ivo, it's packing maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. So it's definitely closer to hurricane status than to tropical depression status if it's packing 65 miles per hour winds. It's expected to continue pushing off towards west at 13 miles per hour, where it's expected to downgrade in intensity by Monday, where it's expected to become a tropical depression. What regarding what's happening on the Western Pacific to the Indian Ocean side of things, we saw that area to the northeast of Madagascar yesterday. That has now dwindled down to nothing. No longer have the other systems, but now we have a brand new tropical storm right here to the southeast of Japan. That's tropical storm Podul. And if we take a look at the infrared right here, we can see the clouds associated with it. For reference, we have Taiwan over here, we have the Philippines over here, we have Japan right here. And look at the track this system is going to be taking. It's going to be pushing off towards the west. And we see that it's expected to increase in intensity up to 75 knots at that. And we know when it comes to these intensity guidance, we know that knots anywhere from 65 to 83 knots is considered a category 1 hurricane. In this part of the world, they call them typhoons. And look, it's expected to clip the northern portions of Taiwan, making landfall and then push into eastern China. Very interesting. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.